На теплоходе музыка играет. Do people ask you if you drink vodka all the time?
I've been in a big fish movie with Tim Burton.
You speak 5 languages?
This is Kinjal.
You are the world tour of my
Even the
podcast.
circus was doing propaganda on me, saying, hey, we have Russian
Have you
here.
ever thought about going back to Russia?
Привет всем. Одноклассникам тоже.
Welcome to the American Dream Podcast. I'm here in the studio with Valera. And this episode is very special to me because we're finally talking about my homeland, which is Russia. Valera, you are from Russia originally. You have a pretty interesting story of coming here to the United States. And I can't wait to get to know your story. So let's start from your upbringing in Russia. Where exactly in Russia are you from? And what motivated you to move to America?
My story starts in 1964 when I'm born.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Soviet Union. The city called, that time was Ordzhonikidze. It's a small republic in South Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Now my city called Vladikavkaz, Republic North Ossetia.
Ah, interesting. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you lived there until how old?
17.
17. And then,
Till I graduate my high school.
okay, so you were 17 years old. And then what sparked your interest to look for opportunities outside of Russia?
I've been part of Moscow circus in that time. And the job was like traveling show.
Ah,
We've
okay.
been traveling around the Soviet Union, different places. I worked there for 8 years,
Mhm.
close to that. And then when the dissolution of Soviet Union, I moved to South America
Mhm.
in 1993.
Mhm.
Exactly was Buenos Aires, capital of Argentina.
Mhm. So your journey to America started from South America first.
Yes, exactly.
So share a little bit about that. That's so interesting. Your life in South America first before you moved to the US.
First was Argentina. I spent there 1 year.
Argentina. Okay.
Yes, in the capital. Well, it was completely different culture. When you arrive, you don't know the language, you don't know how to communicate. Life is completely different. People are completely different. Different mentality, different style of life. The cultural impact was low because circus people, it's like country in a country.
Mhm.
And most of the people, circus people, do the same, have same mentality and same way to live.
Mm.
That way, my impact was kind of low, except the language.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So you were able to get along perfectly fine with people in Argentina when you moved there because it's the same mentality in the circus industry.
Exactly,
Okay.
yes.
And how long did you live in Argentina for?
For 1 year.
For 1 year. And then you moved to...
Paraguay.
You're just all over the world. You are the world tour of my podcast, basically.
Maybe. Yeah, I speak 5 languages.
You speak 5 languages?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So you speak Russian, obviously. You speak English. What are the other 3 languages?
English is my last language. Russian, so I have my native language, which is Ossetian.
Uh-huh.
Spanish and Portuguese.
Wow. And you can communicate perfectly fine in all those languages?
Yes.
Wow.
Spanish and Portuguese are, I can say, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Russian, my native language, 70%.
Wow.
And English is about 50-60% only.
Wow, you're a fascinating guest. I can already tell you that. That's so interesting. So let's go back to your moving experience from South America to America. When was that breaking point, I guess, of you deciding to move your life to America and stay here?
After Paraguay, I moved to Brazil, where I spent 8 years working in a big circus. Actually, I work in a Brazilian Disney World for 6 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there is this guy. His name was Beto Carreiro. He passed away already, and he his dream was to build something like Disneyland in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
He built that park. He also had some traveling circus, and I worked there for almost 7 years for him.
Wow.
Yeah. And then somehow, I don't know how it's happened. Next day after New York disaster, I got a call from somewhere, and people was asking me if I'm interested to come work here in the United States.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So where exactly in the United States did you move to first or landed in?
Miami.
Miami. And you lived there for a while?
No, I left Miami and I lived a little bit to north. It's Orlando suburb.
Okay. So how was it for you to see the difference between the South American mentality versus North American mentality? What were the differences? And versus your Russian root, of course. We can't forget about that.
Yeah. I already know Spanish, and was easy for me communicate with people in Florida because Spanish in Florida is like second language, you know that.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference was the people was worried about completely different things when I was thinking, but it took like, 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
and I was feel like I'm at home.
That's great. Can you walk us through your first couple of months in America? Was it a cultural shock for you at all? Did it felt like something foreign to you? Did you felt comfortable here?
Yes, I feel comfortable because, as I said, when you move from one circus to another, doesn't matter the country,
Mm-hmm.
you like at home
Mm-hmm.
because same people, same mentality, same way to be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Same problems, same parties, same everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it was easier now this time because I already know two languages, that is Portuguese and Spanish, and a lot of the performers who were speaking same language.
Mm-hmm.
So that way was easier for me.
So you spent how long in Florida?
7 years.
7 years. And then you moved here?
Florida, I spent 7 years, but I was in traveling circus too.
Okay.
Every year we start season in March in Miami,
Mm-hmm.
and moving by East Coast to Pennsylvania, New Hampshire.
Mm-hmm. So you got to
And
see the
then
entire America.
moving back another 4 months down, and then stay 3 months there, just resting in the winter quarter.
Wow.
Here, when I was done with my 3 years in the circus, and meanwhile I did the American movie too. I've been in a Big Fish movie with Tim Burton.
What?
Yes, and I already got my green card in the first 2 years here
Mm-hmm.
because I was brought like exceptional performer, and my green card came very fast for me.
Wow.
Yeah. When I was done with that circus, it's a large American 3-ring circus. I decided to stay.
Mm-hmm. So why did you decide that this will be your place of home? Have you ever thought about going back to Russia?
No, I never thought that.
Why?
Nothing to do for me in there. It's I don't know how to say. I'm not against anything, but I had the dream to be a circus performer, and that time in Russia was very hard to live because country was in disaster situation, And here I got to know very good people who helped me to stay here. Most of them are Latino people. And with their help, I just got place to stay, place to work, and that way my career goes up.
Mm-hmm.
And after those years, I got call from Branson, from one of the local theater. They invite me to work here.
Mm-hmm. And ever since then?
Since then, I work here until last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's 17 years I spent in Branson and show.
That's a long time.
Very long time.
Let's talk a little bit about the challenges you faced too. When you were moving from one country to another, you said you were like, what, 18 when you just began doing all of that? When you just started moving from one place to another?
Yes, I was 18.
How did your family react to that? You being 18 years old.
My mom said, hey, I didn't grow you for gypsy life. Because traveling show, you 3 weeks here, 3 weeks here, and...
So she was not supportive of that?
No.
What about your dad?
My dad does the same thing as the mom.
Mm-hmm.
They want me to be in a university, to work sitting in some office.
Mm-hmm.
But my dream was a circus.
Mm-hmm. And you fought for it for a long time.
Yes.
So going back to the challenges, when you were 18, did you ever felt homesick while traveling from one place to another? Have you ever thought, maybe my parents were right? Have you ever experienced a breaking point in your circus career that you thought maybe my parents were right?
There was a time when I was on a Brazilian circus, and they was traveling in Brazilian country, city by city, and I didn't get to speak Russian for almost 2 years because there was no Russian-speaking people. And somehow, some moment I was in hotel, living in hotel, was thinking what I'm doing here, why I'm here. And maybe it's not my place. Maybe I need to quit and return to my homeland. But my dream, I need to follow. Whatever happen, I'm gonna follow my dream.
And you followed it here successfully,
yes.
All the way to Branson, Missouri.
Yes.
So is living in Branson, Missouri, how do you feel about that after traveling, in such different countries, and then you come to Branson, Missouri? What does that make you feel like? Is that your American dreams place?
First was weird because when I came here first time, when they called me, say we're Branson, and I start checking the map, and I say, what the hell is that? In the middle of the nowhere. And when I arrived here, start looking around, and it's like big village size town. It's before I got to the strip, When I see the strip, I said, wow, I feel like mini Las Vegas.
Mini Las Vegas.
Yeah, I was looking like mini Las Vegas. Lights.
That's so true.
Billboards.
Yep.
And it was nice.
You liked Branson.
Yes.
And that's where you still belong, and you don't plan to move anywhere else in America.
Dream never stop.
Okay. So sky's the limit.
Yep. I don't know when I'm going to be tomorrow because now I'm kind of retired from show business and I'm free to do whatever I want now. I can move anywhere. I'm not attached to, nothing holds me in one place.
So the question I always wonder about when I interview people from different countries is stereotypes. You've traveled around the whole world at this point, it sounds like, and you've met a lot of different people, different cultures, different countries. Has anybody said anything to you about Russia that was just not true? That's something that stands out in your memory the most? It can be people from America or, people from Brazil, Argentina, wherever.
Mostly on those times, 30 years ago, people from South America was for them surprising when you open mouth, start speaking, and they ask you where you are from, who you are, and surprise, Russia, because those times no internet and very few knowledge of European countries in South America. And everyone I went, even the circus was doing propaganda on me, saying, hey, we have Russian here working in the circus. Come over, see him.
So you're like the exotic bird.
Yeah, as I feel most. But with time, I don't know, nothing special, just you working. I don't know how to explain that.
What about people in America, here in the USA? How did they welcome you?
Well, very nice people. Where I been before, where I'm now, right now, I always had nice people, helpful. And before I learn my 50% of English, some places where I couldn't express me right, people was helping me to express me right with American people, English speaking people. And I was surprised how patient they are to, even on the phone, to resolve some problems, day by day problems, They was helping me to express them whatever I want to say. English, my fifth language, and it's just my memory card here is not.
So English is the last language you learned?
I don't know.
You still might learn more?
I don't know. Maybe I go somewhere else. But it's very, very hard to find something new because in the middle, when you know Spanish and Portuguese, you not perfectly, but you can understand Italian language, because it's, and a little bit of French. When I watch some movies, people speak Italian, something I perfectly understand.
Do people ask you if you drink vodka all the time? And if you ever get cold?
Yes. Before was a long time, yeah. And I said yes. Just for not to disappoint them.
Yeah. Yes. See, this is the question. This is the top question I get asked. Every time there's snow outside, also, people are like, you're Russian. You should not get cold. This is the weather you got used to. This is the weather you grew up in.
Yeah, but there is places in Russia where snow is not common thing. Like my hometown, where I'm born, snow, maybe you can see snow like for 2-3 weeks only. It's
exactly. There are different parts
south,
of Russia.
Yes. Different climate, different place,
But unfortunately, I'm from Siberia. So I can't really use that as an excuse.
I'm sorry.
So let's talk about your family that is left in Russia. Do you still maintain connections with your family back home?
Yes, sure. Every week I talk to my mom, I talk to my sister. I have my nephew. My dad already passed away a long time ago, and we connect. We talk every week.
Okay.
Video calls and everything.
Do they want to move to America?
They've been here several times, but they don't want to stay here. No.
They want to stay there.
Yeah.
Okay. What about Russian celebrations and traditions? Do you keep them here?
Yes.
Do you try to celebrate, Christmas on January 7th and New Year's?
Yes,
like this?
Always.
Always?
Yes,
everywhere
always.
you go?
Yep.
What is your favorite tradition to keep?
We have Maslenitsa. We do New Year. We do Russian Christmas. And we do all local parties too. So
you have two holidays.
All parties are doubled.
Okay. So, this podcast is dedicated to the American Dream concept. It's the name of it. And I always like to ask my guests, what are your thoughts on this concept? Do you think American Dream still exists here in America?
Yes, for sure. American Dream is when people come here and they have opportunity to be better than their own home countries, and first thing here, you have a right to do whatever you want, unless you're breaking the law, right? And with hard working and doing all things right, you can achieve a lot of the good things. Yeah. Which is in my country in the back still hard to be like I'm here, because I'm 100% sure I never could get better in my life over there, because here I got some dreams because I ran my own show for 17 years. It's a dream for any performer, and I never could get same thing in Russia because it's a little bit different.
Do you have an American dream right now?
Yes, as I said, dreams never end.
You don't want to share your American dream?
American dream, I already got most of them here, thanks to this country. And another my dream, okay, I open. I will move to Florida, back to Florida soon. I don't have exactly time, but I'm gonna spend my life there, sitting in the front of the ocean.
That's a beautiful dream to have. Very relaxing.
Exactly.
What was the biggest sacrifice you had to make for your American dream in your journey around the world?
The only thing, I left my hometown, but it was so long time ago, and maybe just one thing. My whole life I work with animals, and I never had a vacation because I couldn't leave my animals. And even we were on vacation, I was staying where my animals are, taking care of them. And just recently, we could travel together with my wife, first time in 20 years. And it's then I understand that I sacrifice my family be together. Like when we have vacation, we couldn't be together on vacation because my wife and daughter and son goes to vacation. I stay home taking care of animals. When they come back, I go to vacation, but they stay home. So the family time.
So you had to sacrifice a lot of your family time, and that's important to have.
Yep.
Yes. So what about you, the proudest moment in your journey? Or a big milestone that you can share with our listeners?
My own show in America.
In America or in any other countries.
But it's only happened here because of condition, because of opportunity, because people recognize your hard work and give you chance to do that.
And I know that you moved to the US long time ago and you had a long journey, but if you had one message for people from Russia who are also planning to achieve their American dream here in the US, what advice would you give them?
Courage. If you're hardworking people, if you're hardworking man, and you have your dream, here's the right place to be.
Welcome back. You're listening and watching the American Dream podcast. By the way, if you want to see this version of the interview, you can check it out on YouTube. Just look up the American Dream podcast. I'm here in the studio with a wonderful guest from Russia. And today I even dressed up as, like a wedding host because I am just so excited to finally get to interview somebody from my homeland.
Hurrah!
I'm very, hurrah! Da! So this half of the podcast, we usually travel back to the homeland of the immigrant that I interview, which in this case, we're both from Russia. So the travel experience, the imaginary travel experience should be pretty easy. So let's start with a very simple question, and I will help you all throughout this entire time and maybe give my own recommendations too. What, in your opinion, makes Russia a very special and interesting destination for travelers?
Wow. Russia is a multicultural country, and depends the region that you go, you're gonna see completely different things. For example, Moscow, you can see one thing. Kazan, you can see different things. Caucasus Mountains, republics, you're gonna see completely different things. If you don't know where you are, you're never gonna say you are in Russia, because those regions are completely different style and culture.
Yes, and Siberia, you can see a lot of snow.
Yes.
During winter, if you really want to freeze that Russian frost, you should go to...
I've been there, yeah.
Novosibirsk or Omsk. That's where I'm from.
Magnitogorsk.
You don't like snow?
And I like Snow White, but not for a long time.
Not for a long time? Well, that makes sense because you want to move to Florida and live by the ocean. So you like Sochi probably, or Adler, all of those places.
Yes, probably best will be the Anapa.
Anapa, of course.
More
yes.
calm, not so much tourist.
Yes, beautiful sand beaches compared to Adler with rocks.
Yep.
Yes, yes. So speaking of places in Russia, which place would you recommend tourists to visit first to start their experience of Russian culture?
Golden Ring.
What is it?
Золотое кольцо.
Золотое кольцо. Да. Mm-hmm.
The excursion in Golden Ring, there where you can see all Russian culture.
True.
All churches, museums, food,
mm-hmm.
and dances, singing. There's a lot of the things for tourists to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's maybe 1 week tour. It's gonna take. Second place, my hometown.
Of course.
Republic North Ossetia. Привет всем. Одноклассникам тоже. And Caucasus Mountains. It's completely different culture from Moscow.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is North Ossetian people living. They have different food, different style of life, different music, different dances, you know. The third thing, it's Kazan. There is a big mix of culture too. Most of part of it's Muslim people and Orthodox people living together.
Mm-hmm.
Even they have staying together the mosque and the church
mm-hmm.
in the same plaza.
I agree. When I moved from Russia, I was only 16 years old. So I didn't really get to travel around our country at all. I only been to Adler. That's about it. But my mom been to St. Petersburg when she was little. And when she describes that city to me, I want to go there so bad. So my recommendation would probably be pretty basic. It would be St. Petersburg because of the architecture and because of the beautiful, beautiful just landscapes. And people that live there are so different from anywhere else. The weather could be better. It's raining a lot. There's like winds and stuff and people get sick often. But you get to see beautiful buildings.
Yes, it's true.
And then the second recommendation from me would be probably Sochi. I think Sochi is a gorgeous place to go. And there's Black Sea. You can swim there. There is lots of, for those who like more busy, vacation. And
mountains.
To see, yes, mountains.
Skiing.
Yes, Ural. Ural is another beautiful place you should visit. Ural is full of mountains and beautiful landscapes. Altai, that's right. And of course, visit Baikal.
Sure, why not? Baikal is nice too, yeah. I never been there. It was my dream, but maybe someday.
Yes, maybe someday.
And Altai, Настюха. There is my friend.
Всем русским людям, которые смотрят.
She works on the radio too.
She does?
Oh, yeah, my friend.
In Russia?
She's radio host, yeah.
Shout out to her.
Yeah.
We have a lot in common.
Настюха, я тут тоже на радио. С Катюхой. Надеюсь, к тебе когда-то попаду тоже на твое радио.
Comment down below what Valery or Valera just said if you speak Russian. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Russian cuisine now. Soups, we have olivier, we have different salads, desserts, of course. What is the number one dish a tourist should try, in your opinion?
Борщ.
Борщ.
Борщ и пельмени.
Пельмень, of course, yes.
Потом торт сказка.
Mm-hmm. So cake that is named сказка.
Fairy tale.
Yes, fairy tale, I guess, or a magic story. I don't know how to translate that. And a soup борщ.
Yeah.
Which is actually, there is a Russian version of the soup борщ and Ukrainian version. So
yeah, there is.
They're a little different.
And also regional versions. Every region does a little bit different too.
Yes. And do you have a specific, maybe a restaurant that you remember from your days back in Russia that you can recommend people to go in your hometown?
My hometown?
Mm-hmm.
A restaurant called Caucasus.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it still exists or not. But it was called Caucasus. It was close to university, next to the stadium. and there was cooking very good food always. Caucasus food.
And
Хинкали,
of
чебуреки,
course. Yes.
пироги осетинские,
Пироги, of
Ossetian
course.
pies. По-русски пишут.
Nobody will understand what we're saying, but we keep speaking in
Ossetian
Russian.
pie. Yeah, you can Google it. Ossetian pie.
Yes. I've never tried it, actually. My grandma always used to cook cabbage pie. So, the pie that has just cabbage in it, that's pretty much it. And pies with potatoes and eggs and onions. Onions and eggs pies.
It's cool. Пирожки.
Пирожки с
Да, яйцом и с луком.
яйцом и с луком.
Да.
Yes. So those would be my recommendations to try.
Мне очень нравились они, да.
Да.
И с сыром еще. With cheese.
And Russia also has numerous landscapes too. So, of course, the basic one is Kremlin, Red
Right.
Square and all of these places. Then we have Hermitage Museum in St. Petersburg. Which place would you recommend for people to visit in Russia?
St. Petersburg Hermitage.
So that one?
It's very nice. I've been there. My last trip in Russia was 6 years ago. I went there. And it was just, wow, I'm impressed. Everything is there. Those part of arts and everything. And it's just, mouth open. Second thing is оружейная палата, как назвать, я не знаю in English.
The ammunition tent?
Armory.
Armory, yeah.
Yeah, in Kremlin. They have armory where they have antique cars and guns and I don't know, all those things. It's very, very, very... When you sit there and sit some chairs and you feel like, hey, this chair was like 300 years old.
It's fascinating.
And how many people sitting there and people from those times, and it's just, wow, you feel like
Russia is a very old country. There's big
Yeah.
history behind it, and it's very complicated history too. I could never.
Yeah.
I can't even remember. I mean, I watched some of the YouTube documentaries about, the Romanov family and all of that. And everything is so crisscross and everyone is just so connected to each other in different ways. I can never memorize that. So shout out to everyone in Russia who is a history teachers because you have very good memories. So let's talk a little bit about lesser known destinations in Russia now. Is there a place in Russia besides your hometown that you would
Okay.
recommend people to visit that people often overlook maybe?
Oh, you mentioned already once that's Lake Baikal. I also would like them to see Altai region.
Altai is gorgeous.
Barnaul, Altai. That was my dream too, to visit. Still dream.
I would recommend people to go to, and this is very random, but that's where my family used to go to when I was little. That was my vacation when I was little. I'm from Omsk, which is in Siberia, and there we have beautiful resorts right outside of Omsk, which are called Chernoluchye and Krasnoyarka. So those resorts, and there's multiple different versions of them. You can choose whichever one you want to go to, but they are placed in just a gorgeous space near the river Irtysh. And you get to experience just the relaxing life in the forest, I guess, Russian forests, the big, big trees, those evergreen green giants. We're going to go with that. Yes. The big green trees, the good smell of the trees, very good oxygen. It's just very relaxing. It's very Russian, I feel like. We do just a bonfire. We do shashliki. That's another food I feel like everyone should try when they go to Russia, which, shashliki is not a Russian dish as far as I know. I think it's
International.
It's international, yes. So, but you should still try that. And if you can, make some shashliki while you go to Chernoluchye or Krasnoyarka. Those would be the places for me.
Okay, I put them on my bucket list. I like those places. What is on Siberia and really, really, really healthy places.
What is the best way of transportation in Russia, in your opinion? If somebody wants to experience the country by themselves?
I believe it's train.
I agree.
Train, because you sit there, You can have a food, you can watch through the window, you have a stops, you comes out to see. There is some people selling some different food in every station. Babushki.
Mm-hmm. You can buy sunflower seeds.
Yeah, and 1 week you can run across the whole country from Moscow to Vladivostok, and it's gonna be, they call it Trans-Siberian Express, something like this. Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah, that
I agree with the
trip
train.
would be good too.
Yes,
plane is good too, but on the plane you can't see anything, but the train is.
Train is the best way. Yes, yeah, and it's actually not that expensive to travel to Russia if you're from America.
Oh no,
the currency difference is going to be pretty good.
Yes. Middle class here, the money of middle class here, it's be considered rich people over there.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And all these like traveling destinations and beautiful resorts, when I was telling my boyfriend about, let's go to Russia for our honeymoon or something like that, it's so cheap for us to just travel there. The most expensive part of your travel to Russia would be the plane ticket, just to get there first.
Right.
But then around there, you will have no issues whatsoever. Maybe in Moscow, it's going to be a little bit more expensive than, let's say, in Omsk, Siberia, random little city. But other than that, you'll be very good.
Yeah.
In Russia.
That part is nice too.
Yes. Let's talk about Russian people now. A lot of people have stereotypes that Russian people are not friendly. And it's just that our face is not smiling all the time, and that we also don't speak English when you go to Russia. So should you know a little bit of Russian when you go there? And how are Russian people?
Well, Russian people are normal people, maybe they not smile that much like people smile here, but it's a first impression, I believe, because I'm not smiley too, but it's part of culture, People smile you in the street, it's normal over there too. But sometimes in a big city, people rush everywhere, and like New York here. In New York, people not that smiley too, because everyone is running to work, to appointment, to wherever. They don't have time to smile, and even you say hi, they just pass you. Same thing in Moscow. But out of Moscow, people are nice. If you know that you are a tourist and they live there, they're going to invite you to house, get some drink together, get some food, some selyotka with dark bread.
Or caviar.
Well, maybe not the caviar, but, what's most important is hospitality of that people. I travel a lot around Russia in my past times. And everywhere, no matter, I know that people know I was invited, saying, "Hey, you work in circus? Yeah, come on in. Let's get some drink. Let's get some talk. Гостеприимство.
Very, very welcoming people.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Just not in big, busy areas of Russia.
Yeah, big,
just
busy areas everywhere
else,
is not welcoming, because I traveled to São Paulo, Rio de Janeiro. I've been in Buenos Aires. And New York here, Moscow, and those cities have the same face in terms of people, because they all rushing somewhere and not smile so much.
And what about language barrier?
I don't know, but I believe now it's going to be easier, because most of the past generation, maybe who is 20, 30 years old, they already speak English more than communist generation, and I've been there last time, like 6-7 years ago, and most of the places people speak English. Because my son been with me, he not speak Russian.
Oh.
And he communicate with everyone.
Interesting. And what part of Russia were you in?
We've been in Moscow, we've been in St. Petersburg, and we've been in my hometown.
So big touristic cities like Moscow and St. Petersburg, you will be fine with English.
Yeah, perfectly.
However, I can speak for my home city, which is in Siberia. When my stepdad visited Russia for the first time ever, we couldn't speak English to him. It was only, I think, my cousin, which is like 7 years older than me. And she was the only person that was able to speak to him just a little bit. And it was the most basic English ever. So, yes, if you don't know a little bit of Russian, probably stay with a Google translator in small cities.
Or you can use your hands.
Or use your hands, yes. What would be something in Russian that you would recommend people to learn how to say? That would be useful.
Привет, как дела?
Привет, как дела?
Да.
Помогите.
Помогите.
Помогите means help.
Yeah, help in case when you been drinking and you've been fed by Russian people. You need to помогите. I can not eat so much food, please.
Yes.
Help. Stop putting drink in my.
And what practical advice would you give to travelers in terms of visiting Russia? Maybe some etiquette tips on how to talk to Russian people, or what say and what not to say?
You know, if it's not offense, nothing, you can speak whatever you want.
What about etiquette?
Yeah, they have etiquette. I don't know. I don't know how to answer this question because, you know, I'm 30 years away and
right.
It's one generation, you know.
Yes, I can recommend people, if you are in Russia and, for example, you met somebody like Russian family and they're feeding you and they're like, try this, try that, and you just say no. I can tell you, like, if it's a mom.
This term, no, you can't do that. At least a little bite of everything you have to do.
Yes.
It's a term of respect to the people who live in that place, you know. And it's supposed to be like this. I have a story from my people, Ossetian people, 250 years something ago, when they went to Russian Tsarina, Ekaterina, the Kate II. They'd been invited to the table, and while they were served food, something, they cut candle. They thought it's a food. And they have to try off everything, so they cut with the knife, did the candles, and tried.
Yeah, don't eat candles.
To show respect for the house owner.
Yes, 100%. You know? I remember when, once again, my American stepdad visited Russia for the first time, and it was my grandma that cooked us a big lunch. He just didn't want to try котлеты, which are cutlets, I believe it's in English.
Kind of burger.
Yes, yeah. And except that we don't eat it with, like, on a bread. We eat it just as is with, like, macaronis or mashed potatoes, something like that. And he just saw that, and it was filled with some kind of sauce, I believe. I don't know, but it was a different cutlet. And so he, like, cut it, and there was, like, liquid that came out of it. And he was like...
Котлета по-киевски.
I think so, yeah. That was probably the Kiev's котлета. And so he just looked at it and he lost his appetite. I could see it. But my mom was like, you have to try it. So he, like, tried a little bite of it. I think he liked it, but it was just the fact that he saw it and it was different than, you know, American burgers or something like that.
Well, mostly those people need a bit time to adapt themselves to something different.
Yes, absolutely. You know? What about Russian traditions? And what is the best time of year, in your opinion, to go to Russia?
August, September.
Mm-hmm.
All people are happy because summer.
Mm-hmm.
All food is on the table. I mean, all food, berries and strawberries and, you know, all fresh. And weather, I think best weather in Russia will be August, September.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hot, not cold.
Yes, it's the perfect weather.
Бархатный сезон.
Yes, бархатный сезон. And also, I feel like May, maybe, too. May might be a good season, too.
Yeah, May is good, too, but not St. Petersburg.
No, it's going to rain.
Snow.
Yes, snow.
Yeah, I got the snow. And one day, we came out of the hotel, we went to the city, walking around, and we got first, when we came out, was sun.
Mm-hmm.
In 15 minutes starts raining,
mm-hmm.
and in 45 minutes starts snowing.
When
we get back to hotel, it was sunshine day again.
I thought that could only happen in Missouri.
No.
That bipolar weather and random snow.
St. Petersburg is the right place.
I would recommend people to go to Russia during New Year's because that's the different vibe and different traditions that you can witness. If you really care about learning about Russian people and how we celebrate things, New Year's in Russia is different.
Yes,
New Year's is not celebrated the same here in America. We make a bunch of different dishes. We watch, Ironia Судьбы, The Irony of Fate, all of these movies. So you get to experience all of that the first time. And I think it just would be super cool. Hopefully the tickets are, not that expensive during winter, I don't think. But also the planes might have delays, so plan out ahead. Okay, and before we step onto a break, in your opinion, what makes Russia an unforgettable destination?
People, food, heartwarm, welcoming.
Mm-hmm. And what is something that everyone should bring from Russia with them when they come back?
Good memories.
Mm-hmm. What about items? Any souvenirs?
Matryoshka.
The nesting doll?
Some Russian vodka.
Of course.
And
the statue of a bear.
Oh, yeah.
Can't forget about that, of course. Welcome back. You're listening and watching the American Dream Podcast. I'm here in the studio with Valera from Russia. Finally, I'm interviewing somebody from my homeland. And this half of the podcast, I'm putting my laptop away because it's usually dedicated to the items that my guest brings from their home country. So this time I actually did something different and I decided to bring some items of my own because we're both from Russia. So I will talk about my items after yours. So let's start with your items. I see that it looks like we have a third guest here in the studio, third person. But no, this is just the hat, it seems like, and a jacket of some sort. That's how I would describe it. But I will leave it up to you. Which is the first item that you want to talk about?
This is... We call it papaha. It's made from animal.
Uh-huh.
And people use it
as a hat.
Yes.
Yes.
Because it's keep you warm in the winter and keep you fresh in the summer.
Uh-huh. And this is...
Because it's keep you same temperature.
Like Kazakh. Like Kazaki.
Kazakhs used to.
Kazakhs,
They
yes.
learn with Caucasus people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this is just like in the movie Operacja Y with Shurik,
yes.
Where they dressed up like that.
Exactly.
Great Russian movie, by the way.
And
check it out.
This come from that movie too, remember?
Yes,
He
of
was
course.
wearing it here.
Yes.
And this is kinjal. Caucasus kinjal.
Wow.
People,
that's beautiful.
People keep it with this belt, put here and use it like this, Mm-hmm. And exactly this kind of knife they used to cut Ekaterina's
candle.
To try them.
Wow.
Because it's part of the daily clothes.
Yes.
Because they put it like this.
Yes.
And use it.
Yeah, and it's very traditional clothes for people from where you're from, right?
Caucasus Mountains.
Yes. And then the third item that I see is...
It's called burka.
Burka. Yes, burka is like long jacket.
All them, and it's keep from weather.
Yes, yeah. Is it heavy?
Yeah.
Very heavy. Wow.
It's about 30 pounds.
30 pounds. Wow. That's so cool. Wow. We will post a picture of that on our Instagram. Give us a follow, podcast TAD. Wow. So you brought all of these items from Russia?
Yes.
How did you manage to bring a knife or the kinjal?
Well, it's you just put in your cargo part. And that's it.
Interesting. And I also saw actually that you brought like a bigger version of that knife with you.
Yeah, that's shashka.
Shashka. Wow. That's so cool. Where do you keep those items?
Home.
Just in home? Are they on display or are they...
Yeah, they hang. They are on the hanger and on the wall.
That's awesome. How often do you wear this? Do you wear it at all? Is it just a souvenir?
Yeah, I use it. I use it to go to Halloween party.
That's a perfect outfit for nobody else would have the same one.
No,
so you would win a contest
of everyone want to take a picture with me.
Yes, absolutely. And we will take a picture later too. We'll post it on our Facebook and Instagram. This is awesome. How warm is this hat? And you said it's made out of animal? It's actually very light. And I actually like it because it makes me feel kind of safe. I'm like closed, like nobody can see me. I'm like protected. This is so awesome. Wow. Now I feel like all of my items are kind of lame compared to yours. Nobody can compare with that. And it's so soft too.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful. Is it hard does it get like dusty? Do little insects crawl into this? Do you brush it?
No, because I clean it once 6 months.
Oh, do you shampoo it?
No. Muka.
Muka. So flour.
Flour. Yeah, you put the flour like this. Keep it a little bit and shake it.
Wow.
It's become white again.
Wow, that's awesome. So I'll share a little bit about my items now too. I have brought with me a little book of poems. Alexander Sergeyevich Pushkin, of course. This is a tiny, tiny book, and this was brought from Russia to actually my mom. It was one of her American friends that went to Russia recently, and they brought all of these items. So I just stole them. And I absolutely love poems. My grandma was a Russian language and literature teacher, as well as my aunt. So I grew up on good literature in Russia. So this is very memorable for me and very important, as well as this is like a jewelry box almost, right? It's a little wooden jewelry box, and it has a very Russian ornament on it. It's like little flowers, little lines. I don't know the symbolism of this. I don't know exactly. Do you? What this?
Just to keep jewelry, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And some goods.
Yes, it's made out of wood, and it was 30 rubles. It says right here.
It's traditional Russian thing, yeah.
Which is less than $1. And then, of course, I had to bring nesting dolls. This is a beautiful nesting doll. It's white, wooden as well. I have actually 2 of them at home. One of them is blue, one of them, and it's actually smaller than that. And I love playing with them so much because they get so tiny. Like, there's like 4 or 5 of them. Yeah, I think this is the last one. Look how tiny and cute this is. Yeah, so there you go. This is the Russian. This is very Russian. The studio never looked more Russian than this. We have the Russian. Should we sing a song or something? На теплоходе музыка играет, а я одна стою на берегу. There you go. Машу рукой, а сердце замирает. That was so fun. Thank you, Valery, for visiting me so much. I've never been happier before than interviewing somebody from my homeland.
It was
seriously.
my pleasure to be here.
Thanks for tuning into the American Dream Podcast. For more episodes, subscribe on your favorite platform. Keep dreaming and see you next time.